Real good.
Well, it's 5 till, so we'll go ahead and start. Let me tell everybody, I've got 3 people. If my internet goes out, Justin, with you co-host, will it still stay connected to the group? Yep. Okay, all right. I was in a online seminar 2 weekends in a row, and the internet went out like 9 times during the day each time. I've had sudden link come out, but you know, we live out in the country, so it still goes out. So if it goes out and you see me disappear, that's what happened to my internet. But I'll join as soon as it reboots, and it takes usually about 4 or 5 minutes to reboot. So tonight's meeting is going to be just answering questions. Anybody there that's got answers or questions for anybody, but Justin, he does RV parks. He's into financial stuff. He can get funding. He's into a whole bunch of different things. I'll let him tell a little bit more about him when everybody introduces himself. Cuthbert, he's the realtor in Odessa. We're trying to get him to keep doing realtor in Odessa, so we have a person that's there all the time, so that anybody from Odessa that wants to do deals and stuff, that they can use him, and he can get familiar with investors and stuff. And Ralph, let's see, where is he? He's renamed himself. He's down there at the bottom on the screen. He's got a blue shirt on, and he does fix and flips, but he doesn't do the work himself. He does all contractors, which is not as common here in Midland. And then Maria, her boy got called in. She had to go pick him up from school, sick. So I don't think she'll be here tonight. She's the Midland realtor in Midland that we use. She's the one that works for Kelly Williams, and we've been using her invitation room, or her conference room, when we've been meeting in person. And myself, I'm a realtor, not a realtor, I'm a real estate investor that likes rental properties, and I like being a landlord. The whole group, if you're new to the group, if you can either private chat me or chat everybody and put your name and your number, your phone number, and your email address in for me, that'll help me put you in my phone. And we have what is called the 1 minute deal. We don't do it very often because not a lot of people say that they have something. But tonight, Omar has a 1 minute deal he'd like to put out to everybody. So Omar, go ahead and take it away.
Hi guys, I'm using my son's computer, so it says Leon Samaniego instead of Omar Samaniego. I'm pretty new to investing, just started about, well, maybe by accident 10 years ago. I went to college in Abilene at Hardin-Simmons, so bought a house over there while I was over there. And when I moved back here, I just used that as a rental property. But just got it into this, seriously about a year ago. I've done 3 flips in San Antonio, working one in Indiana. So I created, with the help of one of my friends, a website just targeting, all the distressed owners, maybe divorce, tax trouble, bankruptcy, foreclosure, or inheritance that they don't want. And that site is sellme.house. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just put in all your information about the property you have, how many rooms, the condition of the roof, or any high-ticket items that may need fixing, how much you are asking for it. And then after that, I'll contact you, call you from there, and hopefully move on with, closing the deal. It also has a chat bot, I guess. So if I'm not available, it can answer your simple questions too. So yeah, if everybody could just check it out and, give me your feedback as well. We just started it. So not a lot of people have seen it. It's on Facebook as well. And again, that is sellme.house.
Very good. Thank you, Omar. The thought for today is ignorance is not fatal, laziness is. And in the book for the month, 4 or 5 years ago, I read this book. It was a really good book, and I just got finished reading it again. It's called My Life and a Thousand Houses by Mitch Stevens. He's a real estate investor in San Antonio area, and that's one of the things I liked about the book is that, it's Texas law that he talks about, even though the book may be, 5, 10 years old. I'm not sure how old the book is, but it was a really good book to hear how, he was an average guy like most of us, and nobody particularly brilliant or anything. And he just kept doing one deal after another until he figured out how to do his real estate. And now he's had over 1,000 houses that he's bought and sold. And he sells them on seller contract usually. He likes to hold the note. Now Cuthbert is going to give us the market report for Odessa. Go ahead, Cuthbert.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for Odessa, we sold a total of 119 houses for the month of August, since we're halfway through September right now. But okay, there was a total of 218 houses that came up for sale, so it was more than what we sold. So the median price was 219. The average days on the market was 49. And the total volume of sales was 26,367,000.
Are you finding it slowing down in Odessa?
Definitely, yeah. Whenever you see the number of homes that are you have more listings than we have sales. Like we sold 119, and for sale that we have 218 more.
Wow.
So definitely, it is definitely a buyer's market right now. So we're seeing a lot of really good deals in the $300,000 price range and up. So
very good. Well, I'll let each speaker. Oh, by the way, we're not giving any legal, professional, or accounting advice. This is just each person's opinion. And so, if y'all hear any good information here tonight, you can check it out with your lawyer or your accountant, not with us. Justin, why don't you tell a little bit about what you do so that people can ask you questions in your areas or expertise?
Oh, well, as you know, very diverse. We have our portfolio ranges from commercial to residential, and that's including buy and holds. We also produce land, raw land in the West Texas area into mobile home or RV parks or long-term or resort type parks. We also work with owner financing of homes. We buy homes. We don't do the flips. We stay up in the nicer categories. So we do OFI if you guys are needing any of those assistance. And we are nationwide as well as Texas wide. So if anyone needs any assistance in getting loans, especially if you're an investor, but if you're an agent, real estate agent, we can work with getting you paid for your refis, getting you paid for your loan referrals. So there's another revenue stream, and we can work with investors to now, even with we've got jumbo loans back. We have no problems with QMs, non-QMs issues. We can work with now with just cash flows. So we get you through one deal, and after that, you just come back, show us your cash flow. We'll put you back in funding. And we have we're brokers with all top 5 mortgage companies, as well as access to everything from credit unions to mortgage bundlers. So you guys need anything, just give us a holler. We'll also give you just the assistance to even with any information. We can also work with your buyers. So if you need some assistance getting them their loans, we can work with that as well. So just give us a holler. We'll go through a lot more fire than most. And for agents, we will definitely, if you come and talk to us, we'll work with you. And we go through a lot more hoops than other brokers ever will. So Other than that, we're diverse on what we do here in the Permian Basin. We watch the economy quite sharp right now is what we're watching. We're also watching nation and global. We try to watch all of our analytics come in. We do see some changes happening in the market. We'll try to get into that a little bit tonight, maybe. There's always good on the horizon. And we'll talk hopefully about some good things that you guys might be able to utilize. So.
Thank you. Ralph, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, my name is Ralph, the owner of Well-Suited Property Solutions. I don't know, about 3 years ago, I think my journey started about 5 years ago when I got laid off from the oil field after 16 years in the oil field. So I started looking for what else to do, you know. I mean, I knew at that point in time, you know, if I get called back, I wasn't going to go back to the oil field. So I started stumbling into things, you know, to start a business. Then one way or the other, I stumbled into real estate, you know. So I've been doing this for about 3 years now. So 3 years ago, we started our company. So basically, for now, what we do is just flips. And since the last year and a half, I think we flipped about 4 houses, and one of them, no, 5 houses. One of them we had to, like, you know, tear down and rebuild from scratch. So I mean, that wasn't planned, but the neighborhood was really nice, and the property in the neighborhood was going for probably higher than expected, you know. So we decided to just tear down the house because we bought it really cheap. So it was more like we're just buying the land. So we into new construction. So basically, I have a team of contractors that I use all the time for most of my jobs. So Ali was introducing me earlier on, and he said it's not rare. I mean, it's very rare for guys to use contractors out here in West Texas not to do their jobs. I mean, I need to break it to you, Lee. No matter how good you are, you're still going to need contractors one way or the other. You know, I mean, even Steve sometimes needs contractors, you know. So, I mean, contractors not going to go away. You can't do everything by yourself. You can't do brickwork. You can't do roofing. You can't do everything. You can't do plumbing. You can't do electrical. You can't do everything by yourself. One way or the other, you're going to need contractors. So I have a bunch of contractors on my team. Once in a while, you know, when I got started, you know, once in a while, I dedicate like once or twice a month. You know, I go around, you know, new construction sites, you know, to look up ideas, you know, to meet up contractors, you know, get their info, you know. So I have a bunch of contractors, and I've worked in the past. And if you're needing to know some of the bad contractors, contact me. I know most of them. So, right. I mean, I think that's pretty much a little bit about myself and my company. All right, thanks.
Aren't you an engineer by trade?
Yes, sir. I'm an engineer. A mechanical engineer, and last December I just actually had my MBA too. So, which is actually going to help me in my business too. So.
And Ralph's also belongs to Fortune Builders. It's an organization that you'll hear them come through the towns every once in a while. They'll look for new members and stuff. So I try to connect people that are inside of different groups and let them know who all is in our RIA group that belongs to those associations. I use contractors too, but only because I can't do the work. I can do roofing and I can do tile. That's about all I can do. And I don't like roofing. I'll do it if I have to, but no, I'd rather tile than roof. At least I'm indoors. Cuthbert, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and what your goals are and stuff?
Hi guys, I'm Cuthbert. I I started, I guess, reading a bunch of stuff on real estate investing, right? And eventually, you know, it led me to become a realtor just because I wanted an insight on the market and be able to keep up with numbers and stuff. So if anybody needs stuff like that, let me know. I can do CMAs and stuff like that for you guys. My ultimate goal was to be a real estate investor, but I want to do construction. I want to do new homes, you know. So that is my ultimate goal. But I'm selling real estate now to get to my goal. So it's my stepping stone.
Very good. Anybody out there got any questions for any of us? Myself, I got to Midland in 1982. I bought my first rental in 86, and I've been here ever since. I like landlording.
Any questions?
Hey, Brian, you're looking like you want to say something.
No, I'm just sitting here. Just
Oh, okay.
Haley, how do I put my contact info up here?
Can you hear me?
How do I put my contact info up?
You can do it in the chat. If you're on a PC, look down through your chat box. It should be on your control bar.
On my iPad.
Okay, then touch your screen, and that should bring down a menu, and you should be able to pull it.
There's someone on the chat that was actually asking a question. The person says, "Hi, my name is Adebola, and I go by Ade. I'm a nurse from Odessa, and I'm thinking about investing in some properties. I would like to buy one investment property in the next 6 to 8 months. How do I start?"
Well, there is definitely a lot of ways to start, because what you'll learn is real estate is very, very shallow and very broad. So there's a place for everyone, as we say. Where you start, I would say, and I'll let someone else jump in. I'll just give a quick 30, 60 seconds. You definitely want to, always be informing yourself on new information. So dive in as deep as you can, and information is key. Make contacts, network, learn from others, and then second, go and try to find your deal. Action, take action. You don't want to be ignorance on ice. So a little bit, but you need to jump out there and get something done. So just being knowledge isn't going to get you, sitting on the couch isn't going to get you anywhere. So find a deal that'll get you to the next step, which is finding your funding or finding your investor. That depends on which way you go. There is definitely something to learn through wholesaling. It's a hard route. A lot of people take that way, but you can find funding from multiple ways. Other people's money, other people's inactive money is the best. So find your friends, family, find other investors, go out, find banks. There's plenty of ways of finding cash. Definitely ways of finding deals. Everyone just has to get moving and do that. And we're at a time that there are some deals out there, and there'll be way more deals here soon. So so definitely find the deal. Sometimes that inspires you to go and complete the rest of it. Anyone else?
Steve Sanders had a good suggestion. I tried to get him here tonight, but tonight's his anniversary. So him and his wife went out. I don't think that would have been a good idea for him to be here. But him and his wife went out for an anniversary dinner. But he told me one time that if you want to figure out how to do deals, figure out the area you want to work in, and then start pulling up every place that's for sale and start looking at the numbers on it. And just keep doing that over a 2 or 3 month period, and you'll get to know what the price per square foot is selling for. And you don't want what they're listed for, you want what they're sold for. Because everybody will put, whatever they want to try to get for their property, but that doesn't matter. It's only what they can get for their property. And that's what you want to do. And he always breaks it down to price for square foot. That way, if he sees a property he's interested in, he can look at how many square feet it is and figure out real quick whether he's interested any further than just that it's a junk house or something that he might want to rehab. How about you, Cuthbert? You got anything?
I mean,
There are a lot of really
right,
good books. I can't think of any right now because of the top of my head, because I feel, I guess, I'm on the stage, but I've reading there's a couple of really good books. I'm sorry if I can't think of it right now, but also if you go to one of those a couple of the like the Fortune Builders, I know Legacy is another one, right? I went to one with Ruben, and it was phenomenal. Just the one class that I took with them that day that they were here, and the book that they gave me had so much information that it's really enough to get you going. So that's definitely one way. If not, every time we have these meetings, just show up, and if something comes up, ask. It's always good to hear somebody's situation that they had with a certain property or something. That way you learn from people's mistakes, because mistakes in real estate are really expensive. So you don't want to make mistakes. You know, so the more times you come to these meetings, the better you'll be. In other words, you know. So and good deals. Sometimes you'll find them. If you ask me, I can pull up everything on the MLS. I know sometimes it's not as good as you'd want, but sometimes there are good deals. So if you are searching for some, you think I might be able to help you with something, I could definitely look for some stuff. And if not, do we have any wholesalers here on this on the group?
Marco's ready to see us in.
Yeah, so definitely don't be afraid to ask. I guess that's definitely what I would advise. So
Actually, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you barely, Marcos.
Hey, I'm gonna speak up louder. I have a question. I had an investor call me. He saw one of my signs, and he called me wanting to partner on a deal. If I could find him like a cash buyer, he said he had a property. He had bought a property, and he asked me if I found him like a buyer that would buy the property. He let me partner with them. How would I go about doing that? I guess I would have to because I'm a bird dog and a wholesaler. I've been doing this for more than a couple months, so I'm fairly kind of new. Still trying to kind of get to the learning curve. But like, how would I go about partnering? Like, should I ask him to produce like a contract for me to sign with him? Does anybody have any suggestions on how to go about partnering on that kind of a situation?
So what you would do in a situation like that is you could either have an attorney write you up something, or you could use one of the TREC contracts from the Texas Real Estate Commission also. So the Texas Real Estate Commission it was an entity from the state that was put in place to protect people, to protect consumers from bad situations. So if you look up those contracts, they're kind of written to protect each other from certain situations that have happened in the past. So, or you could hire a realtor to do the whole transaction for you also. So there's a couple of options.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Thank you
Lou.
for that input.
Cuthbert, we have a question for you. Do you prefer working with buyers or sellers, and why?
Right now, it's a buyer's market. So buyers are a premium to us realtors right now, because it's since we have so many houses for sale that are kind of sitting a little bit more than they were before. We want buyers, but to me, I don't have a preference. I'll work just as hard for either buyers or sellers. So.
I'm by no means like qualified to answer any of the questions that some of the people are asking, but just a little note on the question before last of how to get into it. There's a really good podcast out there by Connected Investors /how. I've been listening to it a lot. It's on Spotify. I mean, it's got a lot of information, and if you follow it, it has some notes and stuff attached to it and different book recommendations, but it's Connected Investors.
Thank you, Brian.
Perfect.
I have a question for landlords. With the current situation with the pandemic, the prices for rental has been decreased, and also the deposit. My question is regarding the requirements. I'm currently marketing a property for rental, and one of the applicants told me that one of my requirements is 3 times the rental. I mean, the income to be 3 times minimum the price of the rent. And she told me that that's not any longer in the market right now. So she was telling me that she can get now rent a property with less requirement, like 2 or 2.5. Do you have any words on that? How do you adjust your properties to be good in the market right now?
I look at all the rental properties that are in the same kind of market. I do C and D properties. So mine are lower end properties. And I know where all those areas are in town. So it doesn't have to be just in my area. It has to be those types of properties. And when I'm ready to rent out one, I'll list all the advertisements on there, and then I break it down per square feet like Justin does for buying, but I do it for rentals. And if, let's say they're running between $100 to $125 a square foot per month, then I'll make mine maybe 110, 115, somewhere in the middle. I don't want to be high and I don't want to be low. And then I list that as my property. I suggest you never go under 3. I think that you'll regret it if you do. At 3, I wonder myself sometimes how people can afford a place if they only make 3 times the monthly rent. I can squeeze by and make things happen. I'm pretty frugal, but I know a lot of people can't. And I would rather let it sit empty than to have somebody go in there and can't pay and have to fool with that. But that's just my personal preference. I don't like hassles and I don't like strife in my life, and I'd rather let it sit empty. So I think you're going to really regret it if you go less than 3.
All right, thank you for the recommendation. And by the way, if anybody knows anybody interested to rent a property in Odessa, this is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, and this is 2,065 square footage. So let me know. Thank you.
There was somebody that posted a question about flipping homes and what kind of houses to flip now if the oil field is kind of down. What I would say is, well, sales haven't stopped, right? So what you have to do is look at the median sales price of homes right now, and we pulled it up. It's 219,000 right now. That means that houses at that price are still selling. And if you want to flip a house right now, try not to get a house that's gonna be more expensive than that after repair value. So because it's probably gonna sit a little longer than you want. So if you're looking to flip, I would suggest to start at a lower end home, that way you can move it quickly and not sit on your investment for a very long time. So it's my opinion.
Yeah, that's very good advice, Cuthbert. Very good advice. If you're in the flipping market, you want to be sitting at, and this is any industry, any place in the nation, you always want to be sitting at mean income or below for most flips. You need to not sit on DOM, days on market, very long. That's the kiss of death with any sale. And so you need to be able to be in the average, whatever is moving, that's where you need your pocket to be. And so you need to aim for that and focus on that and look for that in your product. So you're going to have to buy at 60 cents. You're going to have to buy it in this market to do your flips and be able to get up back to and stay under that. So it's still a tight market, but you've got a lot of competition, but you have a lot of homes in that market coming out due to baby boomers downsizing, right? You also have millennials that don't necessarily want those aged homes. So you do have homes that you can go in and renovate and make into either flips or buy and holds.
Justin, did you see the question from Thomas? It says, I have an LLC that owns a rental house. Does your company help with refinances in that scenario? If so, can I provide you? Anyways, do you do it in that scenario?
Yes. So I sent him privately as well as publicly my contact information to Lincoln. We'll walk you through what you need to do to get that possibly accomplished. We have equity lenders. Conventional is great, but you guys, equity lenders, hard money lenders, we have access for those as well. So I'll point you in the directions that will help you network with the right people.
Ralph, the next question is for you. It says, it's from Eric, and it says, where and how are you finding your deals, on market or off market?
Well, Eric, thanks. Very good question. For some reason, I don't know why, but I've had a lot of success with off-market deals. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get any of the on-market deals. When I started, the first time I started, I spent a lot of money on marketing. I think I was averaging about $2,000 a month just marketing. Mails, banded signs, anything you can think of. Boosting stuff on Facebook, every medium I was spending money, Craigslist, everywhere. I was all over everywhere. I was spent money on SEOs, I was just all over everywhere. But for over a year right now, I've not been marketing. I've not been spending money on marketing. I guess some of those marketing kind of paid off. So there was a point in time in our business when we had we bought just one property in the same block. So we bought one property. So when we went, I sent my cleanup crew to go start cleaning up the property, and I got one nosy neighbor. Just started asking questions as we're talking. She told me the neighbor next door is fixing to sell his house. So I went to go meet him. We discussed, and I got him under contract about his property. So while signing his contract, he told me his neighbor next door. We bought a property for 411, and from there, one of the neighbors across the street told me 405 is on sale, but the guy wants to move out. So I went to 405. So I met Mr. Eric. So I got Mr. Eric under contract. And Mr. Eric referred me to 407, the guy next door. And so we ended up, flipping 3 houses in the same block. So it's rehab is good. If I ended up wholesaling 411, I wouldn't have gotten 405 deal. And if I ended up wholesaling 405, I wouldn't have ended up getting 407. So everything has ups and downs. So there's another question here that says, I think it was directed to me too. So basically, to be honest, I've not had any luck, getting any on the market deals. Most of my deals are all just off market. I actually have, we have 2 we're working on right now. I have a wholesaler from California that sold me a deal in Midland. I wonder what's wrong with our wholesalers in Midland. So I have a wholesaler in California. He's never been to Texas in his life. He's actually originally from Ohio. So he told me, he passed by Dallas airport one time in his life, going to California. But he actually wholesaled the deal for me from California in Midland there. It's a one property we bought, and at the end of the day, we were able to, it came up most of the properties, when I started, and even up to now, I make sure my properties are always around $40 a square feet. it has to be just 40 cents to $1. I mean, if it's not like that, it doesn't work out for me because I do a lot of work on my stuff. So the other question says, with the current condition of the oil industry and how the housing market is tied to this activity, is it a good time to flip houses now? Seems home inventory in the MLS is going up, or many sales are not moving as fast as it used to be. What strategy can a newbie to flipping do to ensure that flips get sold? That's a very tough question. I will always say this, as long as the numbers work out right, it is always a good time to flip a property. I mean, that's just my advice, as long as the numbers work out right. In 2015, I mean, there was a little bit of slowdown. In 2014, 2015, there was a little bit of slowdown. So, I mean, those people that actually invested in those periods, you know, around 2018, 2019, I mean, they sold most of those properties, and it actually, I mean, most of them sold it like almost twice the amount. You know, I mean, they did good. I mean, they were actually working, smiling to the bank. I mean, right now we're having kind of, I won't call it, I don't know if to call it a recession. I mean, the oil field, I mean, especially in Midland, that's kind of dependent on the oil field. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. But I mean, there are houses out there that are pretty much, I mean, there are very good deals. I mean, there are houses out there that are really in a very good neighborhood that are selling for a very good price. You might not sell it right now, but if you have the right exit strategy, you know, if you flip it, you might hold it for like 6 months, who knows, 1 year. And at the end of the day, it usually it pays off. You know, you don't want to be like, oh, I wish I had bought 2 houses. I wish I had bought 5 houses. But that time it's gone already. You know, so you just have to take action. It doesn't matter as long as the numbers work out right. I mean, that's just my take.
Yeah, numbers have to work out right. So the next question kind of goes into that. Brian asked is, because I said 60 cents on the dollar. So Brian, I do flips, but I do flips different. If property management can't go in and take care of just painting carpet and take care of it that way, we don't do subcontractors, but it's still a flip. And we have flipped homes, especially our buy and holds. Now, when I said 60 cents, so we try to do about 80%, even on our nice homes. You always want to have some area there to weather any situation with your exit strategy. And that's what he's talking about here, Ralph, with exit. It's, you may hold something, we hold houses sometimes a year. If you have the room, though, you can still have your exit. So you really want to be able to move a product. You'll get better and better at that. But 60 cents, yes, that's Ralph can probably answer that. You'd like to try to get somewhere in that range for your repair cost. So it's pretty good average, but it's not.
All my flips I did, I mean, like when things were booming in Midland, I mean, all I did we bought were around the 40 cents. I mean, the highest was like 45 cents.
Yeah, right. That's correct. So, yeah, 40, 60 cents on the dollar is your an average range, wouldn't you say, Rob?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
So, and let's see what we have here. So, and talk about the oil field. We can get into that a little bit, guys. So we live here, and that's a good point. We'll expand on that a little bit. Now, we think the fall, of course, in mortgage, because of mortgage rates, easy loans right now, the inventory, the crisis holding back people from purchasing. People are getting going back a little bit on jobs, but that is kind of what we are considering as being the new fall, just because of that new market push. So fall's kind of the new spring. It's going to go a little bit for most markets into the end of the year. Now for our Permian Basin, there's been some good reports coming back, but I'm going to speak a little bit broad because most of you probably have heard a few months ago our crisis conversation webinar. And since then, we've been watching those numbers. Now, we'd set the analytics at that time, I think around 36 to 39 million unemployment. And I think overall we've hit somewhere around 59, almost 60 million unemployments at the top. So we did go way over that, and we calculated those numbers back then. It taken somewhere around 10 years to get back to February's employment rate. So now we've done some calculations since then. They're still looking pretty far off, but we do have some good things for the Permian Basin. So the Permian Basin Strategic Partnership, the PSP, they have put out a really good report. If you guys can do a search for it, you might be able to find it. They are talking long term, and their long term is actually just over the next 5 to 10 years. Now that's talking about what we do in our oil. So we produce, now guys, you got to remember, we produce a lot of things. We're a primary wealth source, and that is our oil coming out of our ground. We are production. We have tools. We have a lot of diversity with our trucking. We produce, though, numbers to numbers, 92 billion barrels, okay, of oil. Now is what we consume, right? That's more than what the reserves in Alaska. No one is going to pull out the oil from anywhere else but the Permian Basin for the next decade. So, and foreseeable future. So we're always going to have hydrocarbons. They just may not always be burned as much as we've been dependent in the future. We've changed that a little bit, but the Permian Basin is going to remain the epicenter, okay, for decades to come. So remember that. Don't take away that oil is not the commodity. Of course, of the future, it is still in the top 5. Human data is at the top right now, but eventually that'll float around, and you're always going to need the oil. We produce a lot here. Keep that in mind, to always look for the Permian Basin to be a great place to invest. So your local infrastructure is something that you need to watch for as well. We are going to grow during this time. We are going to be expanding our highways between I-20 and Midland and Odessa. There's going to be a 6-lane highway now on I-20 over the next 5 to 10 years. So look for that. We also have more schools that are coming in to take on what they see us to be doing is growing. So that's really our own factors, is what our accidents with vehicular issues, our overcrowded schools. That's some of the things that we need to look at. And housing is where the next you have to have for that to all happen. So keep that in mind, that strategically we're set in the right position, even globally. So all right. Lots of good pipelines, roads. We're just not going to stop. Keep that. So rig counts are going up a little bit, and futures are going to always increase. So good for the Permian Basin.